Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You have stumbled upon the Gamer Social Club vidcast, whatever. Uh,
Podcast.
the podcast, the vidcast, whatever you want to call it, ladies and gents. Uh, I am your host, Nathan Lockhart, and I am joined by, he's about to drop the F-bomb. It's Fraser.
Good morning.
And
Morning for me. Morning,
morning
Nathan.
for
How
you.
are you, mate? You good?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Man, I'm doing really well. Doing really well. I love these little get-togethers on a Saturday morning for me. So I get up with my wife. We have a coffee together. She shuttles off to work, and then I just hang out for the rest of the day. It's brilliant.
See, I'm loving the fact that this is already becoming like so much a part of our routine here, like because I've already
Totally.
been like looking forward to it, like leading
Yeah.
up to
So have
tonight.
I.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been sitting here bullshitting for a little while already. Before we got into all this, and getting all the stream set up, so it looks a little different than it usually does. Hopefully, you all like it, and let's see, we'll be going through some changes as we continue to set up. But Gamer
Yeah,
Social
definitely.
Club is a place where friends get together with new friends to discuss their passions with gaming and just about any and everything. Today, we would use I wanted to talk about the Nintendo showcase. However, we were talking about this before we started recording. I don't really have anything to add to the Nintendo showcase to discussion. I own a Switch, but I'm not an avid player. Like the last time I even turned on my Switch was to play Mario One. I can't even remember the name of it. Is it Wonders or it's not?
I
I
yeah.
want to say
I don't
Wonder,
know.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I've been I played that, and me and my wife been playing that together and been loving it. But it's just been a while since I turned it on. Um,
Yeah.
I was just the only thing that I can comment to the whole showcase is the fact that like, hey, I'm happy Metroid 4 is finally here for people. But I think
Yeah.
luckily that overshadowed the fact that Silk Song wasn't there.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the Silk Song fans. Like I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, I don't even know if that game really exists. Everyone
Yeah,
kind of thinks it does,
yeah.
and we might have seen a thing or two about it, but that's really it. One day they'll just be like, "Boom, here it is," and everyone will be freaking out.
I can't remember who it was
But
in our group chat. Somebody said something about the fact that they're like, I don't think anybody told the devs that they're supposed to be making it.
yeah, what?
Yeah.
What? We need to make another one. We better get started. So, Nathan, I'm exactly the same with my Nintendo. I used to travel a lot for work, so I bought a Switch for that reason. Nintendo has never drawn me to them. Like, friends when I was growing up had N64s, and we'd play GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, and I had a bit of a look at Zelda, but again, it never that Zelda never really pulled me. Mario never really pulled me. I bought my Switch. What did I get with it? I got with it like Pokemon something, gold or silver or one of the colors.
Yeah.
I got Borderlands the pre-sequel, and I got Diablo 3. So those were the three games that I kind of bought with my Switch. And Animal Crossing that came with it. Animal Crossing was fun. I will admit,
Yeah.
Animal Crossing was a lot of fun. But I find that with my Nintendo, like you say, I just don't pick it up anymore. I bought myself one of those backbone controllers. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I bought myself one of those. Oh, have you got one? Do you?
I
Oh,
got
yes.
the
Yep.
Razor Kishi.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I bought that, and I just have my phone, and I just
Mm.
play my Xbox when I travel now.
Yep.
Like I don't need to play Animal Crossing when I can play I don't know something. Fallout 76.
Hmm.
I can play Fallout 76 on my phone on the way to work, and it looks and feels just as good as it does on my console at home.
Yeah.
And I found that with the Switch, especially playing Borderlands, it's not quite big enough. like I found the aiming and everything just really hard. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say it. It was hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like and like you said with the showcase, like I had a bit of a skim through and saw what was coming. The one thing that really looks cool was that Zelda.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember what the title of it was. Zelda something, but it was Zelda's gotten too big for me. I never played Breath of the Wild, but I did buy the new one, Tears of the Kingdom,
Oh, yeah.
or I think that's what I bought that, and I put maybe 10 hours into it, and it frustrated me.
Oh,
Like
really?
all the crafting, I really like crafting in games, but this felt like it felt forced. I felt
Yeah.
forced to have to build these monstrosities to kind of get there. Um, but this looks cool. It's kind of like taking a step back, and it's gone to like it looks really simple, and they've still got crafting in it, but I don't know, like it's kind of like platformy. I saw this video of like there was like a jet of air shooting out, and he just ran across and put a little plant in
Yeah.
front of it, and then just carried on running. Like that stuff's fun. That I like that.
Isn't it more of like a top-down view? More like kind
Yeah,
of okay, yeah,
yeah, it was.
calls back to
Yeah,
the classics, the NES
mm,
and days and stuff.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, that was really it. And like I said, like Metroid, that's cool. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Metroid for years,
Mhm.
but I know they're good, and I know people really enjoy them, so that's very cool for them.
Yeah, I'm happy for him too. It's funny because I've just kind of sat off here to the side with no horse in the race when it comes to Metroid 4, but it just kind of became
Hmm.
like an inside joke with myself anytime there was a Nintendo Direct coming out, just being like, how many people are going to be like, oh, Metroid's going to show up, and then it doesn't. Like,
It
or
just
like,
doesn't. No.
everybody's like, okay, well, we're going to eventually get the Zelda Ocarina of Time remastered, the Zelda, oh shoot, what's the other one? There's the Ocarina of Time, and then there's
Majora's Mask.
yeah, Majora's Mask. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the ones that I loved a lot. Even though
Yes.
Twilight Princess
Same.
was actually the one I probably played the most in reality. Um,
Yeah.
but
Was that a GameCube? Did that come
yeah,
out on GameCube,
it
or was
did.
that?
It came
Yeah.
out on GameCube. I think it
Yeah.
was a Wii launch title, so it was like both of
Okay.
them at the same time. But I ended
Yeah.
up playing it on the Wii, and that was how I got the Wii was a fun story because really quickly, and I'll go back, but
Yeah.
uh, the we got a PlayStation 2 for Christmas from my grandfather, right? And it was he had like won it in a raffle, and it was like this bundle
What
thing
a
from
cool
Sam's Club.
grandfather.
I know, right? And we were like freaking out because it was like typically when we went to his house we'd get like a couple of small things, so we never expected anything crazy when we went to his house for Christmas. And we
Yeah.
show up and he's got this PlayStation 2 bundle with all this stuff. We were freaking out. PlayStation 2 died the next day, and
No.
my mom like felt so horrible for us, so she took the console, she went to Sam's Club and went to return it, and she's like, hey, I just want to exchange this for a new one. And so when she got home that evening, she was like, hey, do you want to go do the laundry? And I was like, sure. And which was odd because she never had us do laundry. So I go down
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
open up the dryer, and a brand new Wii console was in there. And keep in mind, this was during the time when the Wii just came out, and it was impossible to get your hands on one. So we
Yeah.
were freaking
Cool.
out, and it had
Yeah.
Twilight Princess in there. She's like, "Yeah, I went to Sam's Club," and the guy was like, "We literally have just one if you're interested." And she's like, hell yeah." So,
Well, I don't know what that is, but I'll take it.
yeah, yeah, really.
That's what my mum would be like. She'd be like, if you tell me it's good, I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah, I think my mom was actually she actually did know about it because she had saw like the Wii Sports, and she wanted to get the
Yeah.
Wii Sports so that way we'd get off our butts basically. So she
Yeah.
was motivated.
It's
She had some
yeah.
motivation. But yeah, so that's actually what led into me playing Twilight Princess a lot, because I think, like I talked about last time on our podcast, when I played Ocarina of Time, I was so young. It was just that thing of like,
Mm,
I didn't make it very far into the game. I was like, I
yeah.
didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. And it's nice to talk to somebody like-minded with about the Nintendo stuff, because it feels like I'm one of the odd ones out when it comes to Nintendo. Because I am unbelievably excited for Astro Bot. That game looks
Hmm.
amazing.
Yep.
And I know you said you don't
Yep.
have a PlayStation 5, but
No,
I don't
but
know.
there's a few things coming that like it's my hand might be forced.
Yeah, right.
I'll do I'll brave the Facebook Marketplace and I'll see if I can find myself a second-hand console. But yeah, like
Yeah.
Astro Bot, and I think when we were talking with Lady V, like Lego Horizon, like I'm in. Sign
Yes,
me
it
up.
looks amazing. Like it was funny
Yeah.
because it was almost a joke when we heard about it, but then like
Yep.
actually seeing gameplay, I'm like, I'm sold on this. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really excited for it, and it sounds like it's gonna be like 7-ish, 8-ish hours to get
Oh,
through.
that's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, could definitely get
Because
it done
like
in a night.
I'm bummed. I am bummed that it's not coming to Xbox because like that's my console. I
Yeah,
That's what I just buy things on. I have one, so I buy things on that.
yeah,
Um there hasn't been very many games recently that's been like, man, I have to buy a PlayStation.
right,
Like there's if I had a PlayStation and that was my thing, I don't think there's been many Xbox games that I've thought, wow, I have to get that.
right.
I The only thing it's been is Helldivers. That's giving me
Ooh,
some pretty massive FOMO there.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. There's something. It just looks great.
Now,
I'm bummed that I.
do
Sorry.
you play it all on PC? Why not play it on PC?
I do you know that no reason, no
Oh, okay.
reason at all. I just haven't.
Time.
Um, there's been so much else going on that like I also feel like if I had it, I probably wouldn't play anything else.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that I think you said there's like Astrobot looks amazing. I love those little fun like Ratchet and Clank, like in Jack and Daxter, like those kind of platformy, super simple, loads of fun. Like I can sink hours into those things.
I If we haven't pissed the Nintendo people off yet, I'm about to really piss them off with this statement. But
Yeah,
you know, me and my wife, we really love playing the Mario games, and she's not big into gaming. She'll play Diablo 4 with me, and she'll play Mario with me. But her favorite game is Sackboy's Big Adventure. She
oh yeah,
loves that game, and I do too. Honestly, we both enjoy it more than we enjoy Mario. Like,
yeah, yeah,
that's why when I saw the Astrobot, I'm like, oh, this looks like right up our alley. I am so excited to like find another new adventure for me and her to go about together.
yeah.
And then
That's
I don't
cool.
know if you've heard much about it, but like there's going to be like 70-ish levels. I think even
What?
more than 70 levels. And
Wow.
from what I
Yeah,
saw from the previews, it's like, or like I listened to Tim Getty's preview on the game, and he was saying that like they would go into one world, and it's like this world was more revolving around God of War Ragnarok. So then like all the stuff around there is
yeah,
themed into that. Um,
yeah.
it does beg the question like where's Xbox's Astro Boy?
I don't know.
What do you think
Like
would be a
yeah,
good like? I mean, Banjo Kazooie? Question mark.
yeah, yeah. Um, what else? There was like was Conker's Bad Fur Day was another one like that. Do you remember that game? But no, that's
No.
completely off the no that
Oh, I'm pulling up on my
um
phone right now.
yeah
Conker's Bad
Conker's
Fur Day.
Bad yeah it was pretty. I remember there was like a you wake up with a hangover and you have to get home and all the nonsense that you have to go through to get home, and you're like a little squirrel. But no, that's definitely not like the Astro Boy and like Banjo Kazooie.
I was gonna say, as soon as I'm like seeing images,
No,
I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way. This is a Nintendo 64 game, and it's got a
yeah,
questionably dressed bunny on the front of it.
yeah. Was that N64? Was it? I remember playing it
Yeah.
because I definitely played it on Xbox, like the original
Let's
Xbox.
see.
Um,
Um,
do you
well,
know?
no, there's a copy. Let's see, Conquer Reloaded, and
Yeah, that would
you
have been
can
it.
get
Yeah,
yourself a copy of Conquer Live and Reloaded for the measly price of $102.79 US dollars.
Wow. Wow.
Or you can
That
finance it
is
for $10 a month for 12 months.
I'm not like the minute that I start financing games, I've got a problem. Like this.
Right? Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
But
No,
that
do you know what? I don't have an answer to that. I don't know what Xbox's Astro Boy is. Does it even have one?
I mean,
Because we've
if you're thinking like, well, that's why I said Banjo Kazooie, because I'm like, well, I guess if like,
but wasn't that Nintendo as well?
well, oh shoot, who is Rare owned by now? Is Rare under
Oh,
Xbox's
yeah.
name? Did
I
Xbox?
think it might be actually. Yeah, I think you're right. So yes, okay. Yeah,
So you're
Banjo
actually
like
not wrong, because Conkers is um is
yeah,
Rare owned by
okay.
Microsoft. Uh
I'm just trying to think of
yeah, it's
those games.
Rare is owned by Microsoft, so yeah, actually they own
Yeah.
Conkers. Maybe
All right,
Conkers
there you go.
could be the new face of Xbox.
Yeah.
Watch out, Master Chief.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because you're right, like PlayStation do have those kind of mascots of like, you know, Crash Bandicoot. You remember
Mhm.
Jack and Daxter?
And
That
now
was
technically Crash Bandicoot's on Xbox now.
oh yeah. There we go.
J-
Maybe Crash Bandicoot can be Xbox's new
Yeah,
mascot.
yeah, that would. Why not?
That'll
You're just sleeping
that'll
on it.
ruffle some feathers, won't it?
Yeah.
Um I don't know, man. But there's got to be something. There's the catalog is so big, and there's so many games that have kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't even know who owns most of them anymore. To be able to even bring them back or do a remaster or something like that.
There's been so much consolidation. It's hard to I
Yeah,
mean, I feel like I should have known about Rare off the top of my head,
yeah,
because I think that's been a while that they've had that Rare's been under Microsoft. So yeah,
yeah,
it's just hard to keep track of all of the acquisitions.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
weird to think about the fact that we're living in a world where Microsoft owns Banjo Kazooie and Sony
Crash
owns
Bandicoot.
Bungie.
Yeah, right. Like,
Like, what world, what timeline are we living in?
yeah, that's exactly right. Because I remember playing. I think it was maybe Halo 3, where you
Mhm.
could make your own badge.
Uh-huh.
And I was I used to love the old marathon games.
Yeah.
And so I had the marathon badge. And now looking through some of the stuff that we've spoken about over the last couple of weeks, like marathon's a PlayStation thing now.
Yeah.
Like Bungie is marathon is Bungie and Bungie is PlayStation. Like
Yeah.
what is this topsy turvy world we live in?
Oh, it's so weird, dude.
I, yeah, yeah.
Do do you think do you think you'll play Concord? Not that that has anything to do with Bungie, but it just got me
No,
thinking about their
I'm
titles.
not a hero shooter. I I like I like the idea of them,
Yeah.
but when I play it, I don't enjoy it. If that makes sense. I yeah, the idea of being locked into a some sort of power
Yeah.
for the match doesn't like I don't know. It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
I'd rather just play like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield where you just shoot stuff
Yeah.
and and then you know what, if you want to pick up power ups along the way, brilliant.
Right.
But yeah, those hero shooters are just they're just not my jam.
I understand.
Yeah, will you be playing it?
I think so. Yeah, especially since something I've been thinking about. I'm like, oh yeah, it's coming out in August, and
Yeah, that's real
I don't
soon.
think anybody at Gamer Social Club is going to be reviewing it. So I'm like, that might be
No,
something I'd be interested in reviewing. Um,
yeah,
I mean, here's my thing: is like I actually have more faith in it than most, um, because I mean, my biggest thing is you look at games like Destiny, right? And the fans of Destiny are extremely into the story. They're very much
yeah,
into the lore of that. and
Yeah.
I can see the vision that they have for the game, and you know, I can I understand both sides of it. I understand the side of being like, well, I'm just here to play a game. I don't really care about a cutscene, yada yada yada. I think the majority of people is going to be the guy who's sitting there on the PlayStation, and of course there's more PlayStation 5s out there in the world than anything else, so it's like, well, I
Mm.
mean, aside from a Switch, but like, you got the guy who's mainly just playing Call of Duty and Madden. He picks up this $40 game that looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, another huge thing that a lot of people in the
Yep.
mainstream media really love. And they're like, oh, wow,
Yep.
this looks cool. I'm going to check it out. It's only $40, and it comes with 5 passes for your friends. So then you share that with your friends. If they can uphold their part on the gameplay, I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be a crazy assumption to say that somebody would get into the story. Now,
Yep.
as to if we're going to see cutscenes every single week a year from now, I don't know. I can't imagine you have the money to be able to pull that off, because that cutscene
Mm.
looked expensive to make.
It did. From that cutscene, the cutscene looked amazing. And then when it switched to the gameplay, I was like, what am I watching? Like the cutscene
Yeah.
didn't connect to the gameplay or the fact that it's a hero shooter like at all.
No.
Um
No, you wouldn't have thought that.
but no, no. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it, because like you look at like Overwatch, that exploded. People
Mm-hmm.
love that
Mm-hmm.
game. I
Yep.
don't I don't think 2 was as popular as 1 for whatever reason. I don't know. Um but then like say X Defiant for instance, like I played that and I jumped in and there was so little to choose from that everyone was just running the same thing.
Yeah.
The powers were all so similar that it was just like at one point I think I played a game and every single person was running the shield.
Hmm.
And what this that's not I don't find that fun. I
Yeah.
don't find that fun at all. They're going to do a hero shooter. They need to have like at least 20 different characters that
Right.
have like really really different powers. That was what was so interesting about that. Was it Frag Punk? Did you see
Oh,
anything about that?
yes. That actually looks really cool. I'm very
It,
excited
like
about that.
yeah, so like my thing was it looks like everything revolves around these cards, right?
Right.
So does that mean that the character that I select doesn't make any difference to my gameplay? Or and it all revolves around the cards. Can I create this deck of powers that I use, and then my character is just like a cosmetic choice? So
Yeah.
when you're playing a hero shooter and you run in and you see that Rhino guy and you're like, cool, well I know that he has the specific power. Do I is that gone now? Do I not know what my opponent's powers will be? Does that bring some sort of chaos to the mix? Um, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Because like those, like I think where I'm going with that is like the hero shooters get very stale very quickly for me. Um, yeah,
So, just quickly doing a Google search on this.
yeah,
Summary, brand new 5 versus 5.
mm-hmm,
Fragpunk will keep you on your toes thanks to its unique rule bending gameplay
yeah.
mechanic shard cards. With 10 heroes, their unique abilities, and 15 weapons to choose from. You'll have plenty of options to choose from to find your fun. It doesn't say anything about switching. Now, I,
So
I know Overwatch
from that,
eventually switched to where you can just hop in and out of whatever player you want to be.
yeah.
Um,
So like from that, it seems like each character has its own set of powers. That's what I get from that. Where I thought it would be cool if the powers came from the cards. So I don't know how you would get said cards. Do you just get them randomly from playing matches? Once you've unlocked them, are they around forever? Are they consumables? Like how do they work? But that could be really like a really cool idea of you don't know what powers your opponent has until you come face to face with them.
Yeah, yeah, that
And then all
actually
of a
would add a
sudden,
little
yeah.
spiciness to it.
But yeah, like I think I'm just starting to nitpick now.
There,
Um,
no, you're fine. So on this is on Microsoft Xbox Wire. A look at the powerful shard card system. So this is all the information we have right now. I believe. The trailer offers a glimpse into the intense gunfights and counterattacks enabled by shard cards. Featured cards include Chain Reaction, which releases chain lightning upon firing bullets. Meanwhile, World Flip turns the world upside down, demonstrating the game's dynamic and exhilarating gameplay. These cards add an element of surprise and strategy to each match, encouraging players to adapt and evolve their tactics. The announcement trailer showcases the variety of unexpectedness that can be brought to the battlefield, and seeing even more cards to come. Let's see. Shard card. Okay. With its unique blend of features, Ragpunk has a whole lot to offer players alongside the game changing shard card. I feel like they're just repeating themselves. Shard cards themselves are central to the game, but they go beyond their effects alone. Indeed, synergies and counterplay between cards, heroes, weapons, and maps add an exciting layer above how matches are played. So I feel like I'm none the wiser.
yeah, the little videos that we saw, like one of the cards added like long grass to an area,
Yeah.
so you could hide in the grass. But then once you know the maps and you see some long grass, you're like, cool, well, fucking old mates in that grass. Let's just throw a grenade in there and get rid of him. But like there could be, and I think there was a big head mode. Do you remember big head mode from
Yes.
GoldenEye?
Yes. Yeah.
So like, and then another fun one would be like inverting your enemy's controls.
Right.
So you could like, so you crack the card open, and then all of a sudden, up is down and down is up,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
That actually reminds me more of Gears of War than it does
yeah.
GoldenEye.
Oh,
Yeah.
the big head mode.
Yes, all big head mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um honestly, I'm more sold on that game than ever. Like
Yeah.
this sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Like it just hero shooters are a dime a dozen at the moment,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's got to be like having cool characters is not enough anymore.
No.
Call of Duty have cool characters, like, and the powers need to feel powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want to turn invisible.
Yep.
And be able to do it once in a match. Like I don't know.
I don't know. Bring back Crisis. You ever play Crisis multiplayer back when that came out?
No, I
Crisis
didn't.
multiplayer was super underrated. Like,
Yeah,
it was just so much fun to you had like or did you ever play Crisis at all?
I. When you say Crisis, I think of Time Crisis, but no,
Oh, really? Okay, so
no, I don't know what Crisis is.
see, Crisis is an EA title, and it's been a meme forever. Like, yeah, but can your PC run Crisis? Because the first game was so demanding, it was like out here blowing people's computers up, right?
Yeah, I know. Sorry,
Okay.
I know exactly the game that we're talking about now. Yeah.
Okay, it's funny
Yeah.
because you remembered from
Yeah.
the meme. They yeah, so like in that game it was like you press left bumper to go invisible and then right bumper to like kind of give yourself a health slash stamina boost. And so
Yeah,
like
and
as
then it
soon
was like a
as
strength boost.
yes, yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, and it was like almost like Halo meets Call of Duty, and I felt like it was this perfect
Yeah.
in between of the two because like
Yep.
if you were on top of using those abilities, so the second you felt somebody start to shoot at you, you just clicked out that shield, and then go invisible, get into cover, and then you're able to like retaliate.
Yeah.
It's like if you knew how to use those abilities, it took two simple basic abilities and really added to the whole experience in it. But yeah, it was just such a short-lived thing though. Like it was just back in that time, it was if you're not Call of Duty, you're not surviving. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, has that much really changed? If you're not Fortnite, you're not surviving. If you're not,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
and it's funny because I was gonna say bring up Fortnite over like the fact of you're not wrong. Like, how do you survive as a hero shooter when you aren't Fortnite or Call of Duty when they're doing
Or even
all of
Apex
these?
Legends. That's a.
Well, yeah, then there's Apex Legends too.
But
Yeah, I guess they're doing the damn thing. But I
yeah.
think they
Yeah.
just recently started doing crossovers. I might be wrong about that, but I think they just
Yeah.
started doing crossovers. But it's like you could literally be anybody. Like, and if
Mm,
any, I mean,
yeah.
fuck, you could buy Eminem a couple months ago or a week
Yeah.
ago, and it was like you be Eminem against somebody in a Fallout power armor, like, and then there's Spider-Man over there hanging out. So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's I don't
It's
know. How do
fun.
you?
It's
It's
silly. It's
fun.
yeah.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah.
compete with that when you're
Yeah.
trying to go for fun and silly and get you to
Hmm.
care about these heroes that why should I care about them? Which again,
Yeah.
kind of circling back to Concord, which is why I don't think it's that crazy to think that having a little 5-10 minute cinematic to get you to give a shit about the characters
Mm.
is
Yep.
probably a good idea, and it's a way better way to get people involved in characters for a multiplayer rather than giving them like some kind of comic book rundown of you know what I mean? Have you ever just
Yep.
lost interest so hard, so
Oh,
fast in
very
something when
much.
it's like, okay,
Very
yeah,
much
here's an
so.
image and somebody's doing a voiceover, or it's not even a voiceover, it's just a narrator saying so and so climbed the hill and then they
Yeah.
died. Here's where they left off, and then it starts the game. It's like,
And you're just like, what is happening?
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, see that's what X Defiant. That's what let me down with that. So they were
oh
like
yeah,
Ubisoft, were like, we are gonna bring all of your favorite Ubisoft games together, and you can just shoot each other. Okay, brilliant. I was hyped for it.
right,
I'm a Ubisoft guy. I like all of the games. I loaded it in. They're all generic characters. There's no Sam Fisher. There's no like I don't can't even there's no like Vass from Far Cry. There's no
what the
they're
hell?
just like they're just a generic faction. So they've got like Samuel, just some made up name from the Division, and like why can't I
What?
be one of the cleaners from the Division? You
Yeah,
own the IPs. Bring those
yeah.
people together. I want to be Sam Fisher.
I thought that was the
I
whole
want to
point of X
be
Defiant.
yeah, exactly. They've got the factions. The factions are there. So you've got the cleaners from the Division. You've got the is it Libertad from Far Cry 6?
Yeah,
There's Echelon from Splinter Cell, and there was another one that I can't remember what it is. But you're not any of the characters from that game. They haven't bought any of the heroes. They're just like Agent Number 7, and you're like, who is that? I've got no idea who that is. I don't care about that person.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that was my. But the gameplay was fun. The gameplay was great. The the powers were limited. The characters were limited, and then you couldn't be the people that they kind. They never promised it.
Yeah.
They never promised you to be these people, but they did say you can be the guys from the Division. You know, the Echelon boys, they're showing up.
How
And yeah,
how do you think Bungie gets people to care about you said you played Marathon, right? Because I've never played
yeah,
it.
yeah.
How do you think Bungie gets people to care about the characters from Marathon? The same way Overwatch does with their characters, or do you
Well,
think there's a
I
connection
think
people can find?
Marathon was kind of like for me, it was kind of like the original Doom. Like
Okay.
there's no, you don't know the the main character. You've
Yeah.
got no connection to the main character. It was just a fun game that
Yeah.
I played. And so when Halo came out and they had all the marathon stuff with it, I was like, cool,
Yeah.
let's throw that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, I've never played Marathon. I don't even know what to
Hmm.
expect from it. It seems like the finals is the only game out there that's really killing it in the extraction shooter uh,
Yep.
area. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know. I'll be interested in seeing what they come out with. But I mean, from the people who make Destiny 2, I mean, you can only imagine they know a little bit what they're doing.
Yeah, Destiny 2 again is one of those games where they they make you care about the
Mhm.
characters by interactions with them. Their lore, the way they do their lore is
Yeah,
wild. I don't know, like I
yeah,
remember you'd pick up a piece of lore and it'd be like, cool, go to this website to read the lore, and you're
yeah,
like, well, I'm not doing that.
yeah,
I, what?
yeah,
I'm
yep,
not. No, just tell me it. Just tell me it now.
yep,
Um, but like when you're playing through and like the hunter vanguard gets killed, and you're just like, whoa, this is huge.
oh, yeah,
Like like
yeah,
what is happening? I love this guy, and
hmm,
they make you care through interactions.
yeah,
So with these hero shooters, do we need more interactions? Like you say, do we need some cutscenes with some to make us care about them? But
right,
then again, if it's just a online arcade shooter like Call of Duty, like, do I care about any of those
yeah,
characters? Absolutely not.
yep,
I couldn't. No. Just put me in a gorilla suit, give me an
hmm,
AK-47, and I'm gonna shoot some stuff. And that's
yep,
what I want from Call of Duty.
yep. Yep, it's like
Uh,
I don't give a flying crap about any of the characters from Call of Duty. I mean,
No.
I've been playing. I skipped out on this most recent Modern Warfare 3 game,
Hmm.
just because I could never justify the money for it. But like, and also I played so much Call of Duty leading up into the release of 3 that I was a little burnt out when it came out. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'll just wait on
Yeah.
it, and it just I never got it. But anyways, I as somebody who's played pretty much every single Call of Duty campaign, I couldn't tell you any of their names. I don't
No.
remember any of the stories. I remember uh I remember Advanced Warfare, the whole Kevin
Hmm.
Spacey bad guy moment
Yeah.
there at the end. I of course
Yeah.
remember the infamous No Russian mission. I remember
Just that sniper one from the original Modern Warfare, that sniper
yeah,
mission, the Gilly Up or
yeah,
whatever it was
Gilly
called.
Up, yeah. Just
Yeah.
like I remember
Yeah.
those missions, but I think that the fact that I'm sitting here recollecting these moments, I'm not remembering the characters. I'm remembering the
No.
experiences.
Yeah.
And yeah, I so if we're going to take that and try to apply that to these games that we're talking about, it's like, all right, well, Concord's doing the damn thing with the cutscenes, but again, you really gotta have a good gameplay loop to get people caring enough about
Yeah.
the cutscenes. It's not the cutscenes
Yeah.
that's gonna make people care about the game. It's the game that's gonna make people care about the cutscenes. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Elden Ring. Like people
Yeah.
freaking go bonkers for Elden Ring storytelling, and as much as I love Elden Ring, I find it incredibly hard to follow. Like
Yes.
I don't really
Yep.
pay attention. I couldn't tell you what Elden Ring is really about. I'm maidenless and I try to become non-maidenless.
And
Like,
there's some sort of finger,
and
something
there's
to
a
do with a
finger.
finger,
Yeah,
and a tree, some sort of eld tree, an Elden Ring tree.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like the gameplay is the most important.
Hmm.
I if the story is amazing and the gameplay is average, I'm gonna struggle.
Hmm.
I can have a really mediocre story and really enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just I think that's the most important thing for me. So yeah, going back to that, they need to somehow make us care about these heroes.
Yeah.
Like for instance, if they, like, it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, for instance, they were going to make a Guardians of the Galaxy hero shooter. I've got characters in that I really enjoy.
Right.
Would that, giving us characters that we actually have a connection with versus just random made up people.
Right.
I don't know.
Um, I kind of want to circle back around to the Nintendo showcase because yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah, we got pretty far away from there, didn't we?
that's okay. That's totally fine because I'm
Yeah,
really enjoying this conversation. I feel like this is good content because I just I'm fascinated with we're surrounded by all these live service titles, and
Hmm.
as to if they're going to go anywhere, take off, or um, you know what? Just scrap the whole Nintendo thing because I kind of want to keep moving on here. Uh,
Yeah.
because speaking of like Dano wrote his article on PlayStation and how it might have been is it a mistake that they're missing out on all these releases? And my 2 cents on that topic is hold your cards close to your chest when you don't no release dates yet. And
Yeah. Yeah.
especially when their whole thing this past year has been we're going to go down the live service route, right? We're going
Hmm.
to make, I think they initially said 10 or 12 live service games is what they had that they were
That's a
working
lot.
on. It's a ton.
Yeah.
And something I just want to quickly remind people of is you can look at games like FIFA. That is a live service game just because of the way their store is set up. So we
Hmm.
discount some live service games as non-live service, even though they're technically under that label. So I wouldn't sit here and be like, all 10, all 12 of those games are going to be Concord esque. Just as
Yeah.
like a reminder for those of you listening. Um, but like, so we know that Naughty Dogs is canceled, right? We know
Yep.
there's a Horizon 1 being worked on, and I mean, we can
Hmm.
only assume it's probably going to look more like a Monster Hunter type of game, which would be really fucking dope. Um,
Yep.
but I'm a big Horizon fan. I got a little Horizon shrine right here with
Yeah.
the
I
Legos
can
and
see that in the background there.
yeah. So I mean, I'm really excited about that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I'm not gonna sit down here and try to come up with like try to figure out what the whole list is, but I know there are lists out there where some of the journalists out there are keeping track of what's been canceled, what's been announced, and I know a lot of those titles have been canceled, right? So like
Mm.
going forward, it's like their game plans, I think, are changing. They're shifting
Yeah.
constantly. And by this time next year, maybe we will have a better idea on what direction PlayStation's heading in. But as of right now, I would say between PSVR 2 and between their live service stuff that's clearly not even working out, um, I say not working out, not really taking into account like Helldivers 2 and not really taking into
Yeah.
account like
I think that. Yeah. Yeah.
what if Concord blows up? You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not taking those two games into account. There's a totally different conversation to be had there because it's like, all right, well, does PlayStation look at Helldivers 2 and say, hey, we're on the right path. Let's, really double down on these live service games. But I mean, based off of if you're keeping track of their internal stuff, like it seems like they're canceling stuff. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on here because
Yeah, I
it's
feel I feel like
hard.
everyone's canceling stuff though,
Everybody is,
and
yeah,
like you say, like if you, I'm not terribly fussed on dates. Like I'm
none.
kind of a person of like, I'll get it when I get it,
Hmm.
and if you have to delay it, like of course I'm bummed about it.
Hmm.
It's not going to change my opinion of like now I hate this game
Right,
because it's delayed.
right,
Um, but I think we all hold a like we put a lot of pressure on that date. They're
right.
like, cool, it's coming out on Thursday. So you're like, all right, great. I'll take a day off work. I'll buy a whole bunch of snacks, and then on Thursday it doesn't come, and then you're bummed about it.
Yep. Take
Like,
the day off work and yeah, you're screwed.
yeah, like why don't give us a date when it's finished. Don't don't kind
Yep.
of give us these hopeful dates. Like, when
Yeah.
when an album releases or a film releases,
Hmm.
the film's finished
Yeah.
6 months before it's released.
Yep.
It's ready to go. And they give us a date and it's a solid date. They're not going to change anything. Where I feel like a lot of the time now they're kind of dangling this carrot
Hmm.
of like, hey, we've got this really cool stuff coming, guys. It's real cool.
Hmm.
But you have to wait for it.
Yep.
We'll give you a little tease of it, and then they give us a tease, and people are like, oh, I don't like it. Or
Yeah.
it was this or that. and then they take that on board. They're like, shit, people don't like this.
Right.
All right, now we got to change some stuff. And then we get another 6 month delay. And then they do it again and again and again. And all of a sudden, we've been waiting 10 years for Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy, and it's crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
and all of a sudden, you just stop caring because, it'll be delayed anyway, so whatever.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it rough. I'm trying to, like, I can speak more on the Xbox side as far as my observations there, because I feel like it's a little more transparent, their thought process, especially since Redfall. It's like you look at these games, you release the games, and then they flop or they weren't finished, or and also when you talk about Microsoft, they're very big on giving their studios enough time to do the things that they want to do and giving them the room to work. And so is Sony. I mean, Sony's been big about that, and I know Neil Druckmann. He's also talked many times, and so is Corey Barlog, on like the fact that Sony constantly gives them the creative space that they need to make their games. So it's I think both of those companies are really good about doing that for their developers. Um, with that being said, I I mean, Redfall is a different topic, and I'm not going to get into all of that. But it's like when you look at some of these games where it's like you dropped your release date, you put your money into the marketing, you've set, and marketing that it's coming out on X day. I mean, Suicide Squad's another great example of marketing out something and then it not coming out on the date you marketed it for, right? That's just a whole bunch of wasted money. And it's like, how
And that's what annoys people, is the, like, giving this, like, it's kind of hard and fast. It's coming out. We've got it for you. It's ready. We are ready to go.
Yep.
Oh, we're not ready.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? You told us you were ready.
Yeah.
I've given you this money. And because, like, we're buying things that are not finished.
Yeah.
Like, why am I buying something that's half done? I'm not going to go to a movie and sit through half of it and then they like stop. No, cool. We're going to finish the rest later. So maybe come back, but we might not finish it either. So
yeah. I feel like there's just a slew of reasons, because I mean the first thing that comes to my mind is like shareholders and what they're looking at, and like them having to like appease the higher ups and trying to give them a specific date. And I mean, I feel like you put out that teaser to show people the interest, to get people to wish list the game, and then you give them a rough idea on how long it's going to take, and then you run into all these. I mean, I would love to just sit down with developers and pick their brains on like what's going on that moment you release the trailer up to the moment that it's coming out right now and it's imminent, and it's like what. I mean, it's so complex that it's hard to sit here and be like, oh, I'm sure there's just a couple reasons. I'm sure it's so it's kind of hard to pinpoint one specific thing. You know what I mean? But
I guess like it's.
No, you go ahead.
I'll carry on. I was saying, like you're saying, like we don't know. I don't know how to make a game. I wouldn't even have the first clue how to make a game. But it would be nice to have a bit of openness from these people. Like, do you know what, guys? We've run into a problem. We don't know how long it's going to take. We're really sorry. People accept that. Like, people are not going to be like, what do you mean you've run into a problem? That's unbelievable. Like, you've come into a problem. All of a sudden, our clipping's not working. Our reload's not working. We've added this thing to the game, and now all of a sudden, like, something's not working. I'll accept that. I'll be like, man, that sucks. Like, I hope they can fix it, but now I'm not going to put so much pressure on that time because I know that there's a problem.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with the early access stuff. It's like,
Mm.
do I mean, you don't really want to, like Lady V kind of summarized really well about, you don't real. There would be people with torches and pitchforks if we were to start doing early access with every single AAA game. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with that still. I just wonder if with certain games, it's like, do you just have the transparency that you're talking about and say, well, hey, we've run into these issues and we're going to take a poll. You guys can go ahead and have early access, or, with this, that, and the other thing missing, rather than just dropping it and pretending like everything's okay. Because I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that whole entire rule of, well, a game must be in certain working order for you to be able to come out on PlayStation and Xbox, is that really the main reason why we're getting an unfinished product? Because ultimately, take away the label, we're getting early access games on release.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Like I understand, like, from say an indie developer, for instance, like using early access to build
Yeah.
hype around their game. Like, I'm Fraser. I'm making this fighting game. What do you guys think of it?
hmm
Rather than like Ubisoft coming out and being like, "Yo,
Yep.
here's our $1 billion game. Help us finish it."
Yep.
Like, I don't want that from them. Like, I want them to give me a game that's finished that I can just play.
Yeah.
If you're going to add things in the future, I'm okay with that.
hmm
But don't give me a half finished product and be like, "Cool, this is early access."
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm just being harsh, but I feel it's kind of lazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like getting, I don't know, are they getting us to do the testing for them?
Well,
Like,
and
I
if we keep buying it, they're going to keep just doing the
yeah,
same thing. I mean, no lessons are ever going to get learned unless,
no,
the money doesn't show up. But also, if the money doesn't show up, doesn't the studio just get shut down in this day and
yeah,
age? Like,
yeah. And like, if you play in early access and it's rough, which I've played a bunch of rough early access games. When the full release comes out, my taste is already soured from this rough experience.
yeah.
Am I going to now drop, for me in Australia, $100
hmm
for this game that I've already had a bad experience
Yeah.
with? I don't think I am.
Now that you kind of describe it that way, it makes me think back to my time with Cyberpunk.
Mm,
I played very little of it, and that's kind of been my thing. It's installed on my computer. I mean, I keep telling
yeah,
myself eventually I'm going to try and give it another shot, and I mean, it's done. It's cooked. Like, there is no more updates. But it's like
yeah,
I just kind of feel a little soured by it all.
yeah,
And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I'm still feeling the sting of like the promise of, hey, this is going to be the next Grand Theft Auto, basically, and then it ended up being a glorified action adventure, but it wasn't glorified because it wasn't working. And so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I
I feel like there was
yeah,
a whole conversation where Lady V was brought up the whole Game Awards thing, because that's a different topic for a different day. Because I agree so
yeah,
strongly with
definitely.
that. I'm like,
Yeah,
man, the game was broken and you fixed it, and then you got an award for fixing it. Like, that's
yeah, no,
wild to me.
yeah. I'm really happy that they were given the opportunity to fix it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that is cool. Like,
Yeah.
they were like, people were like, "Well, you made The Witcher and it was phenomenal.
hmm
We know you can make a good game. Make this better."
Yeah.
Like, I was lucky enough to, I don't know why, but I didn't play Cyberpunk on release. I played it I played it a good few months, maybe even a year later, and I had a really different experience to everyone else. Like, I kind of came on and I hadn't played it. Sure, I had a few little weird bugs where, like, I'd spawn in my bike and it would be under the ground or it'd be in the air.
Yeah.
Like, it's annoying, but it's not game breaking. It's immersion breaking, definitely. But like, it's, for me, that's not game breaking. when you come up to a point in a quest where you can't progress, that's game breaking for me. And I never experienced any of that.
Yeah.
And so I had a really good time with Cyberpunk. I got the 100%
Oh,
achievements.
really? Okay.
I did all of that. I have not touched the DLC,
I've heard
and I haven't
really good
played it
things about it.
since. Yeah, same. And I haven't played it since they introduced like the car combat
Hmm.
and like the updated things and stuff. I had a really good time with Cyberpunk, and I like. It's a shame that you've got that sour taste, but I know how it tastes. Like
Yeah.
I know how it feels. Of like, man, I had a really terrible time with that. I'm not gonna put in 150 hours to finish this game just sucks.
Yeah. That's
Like,
actually the game I was planning on playing over the summer.
yeah,
Um I really wanted to kind of my original plan was to play Shadow of the Erdtree and then go
hmm,
into my backlog over the summer cuz I
yeah,
mean before all these showcases, I was like, man, it's a pretty cleared up summer up until
yeah,
Space Marine 2 for me. Like,
yep,
I was like,
yep,
I'm looking forward to Space Marine 2. And other than that, like, I was like, I'm just going to work on backlog stuff. Cyberpunk, Shadow of the Erdtree. Now it's at the point where I'm just skipping over Shadow of the Erdtree.
yeah.
I,
I won't
I,
be playing that.
I want. Look, I want to. I really want to. I'm got uh, FOMO so hard right now. So
Yep,
everybody's
yep,
on here, and one of the things I look fondly on is when Elden Ring first came out, just how much of a special moment that was. So many
yeah.
people were playing it. You could not open social media
People that
without
didn't
seeing
play
the.
games were playing it.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
It was such a
it was, yeah,
special moment for everyone, and it felt like we were collectively experiencing it together.
yeah,
And so to have like this resurrection of that, it feels amazing, and I'm like really excited. I've
hmm,
got FOMO so hard, but it's like I've been so busy. I have not been able
yeah,
to play the game that I've been needing to review. I haven't been able to play this, that, or the other thing, let alone Destiny, right? Like, I'm still
yeah,
trying
right,
to get caught up on DLC so I can play Final Shape. I still haven't even started Final Shape. It took me like
yeah,
two,
yeah,
3 weeks to finally finish Hellblade, and that was just a 5 hour game. So
mm,
it's like, I don't know how. Anyways, this is a big, more long drawn out rant going into why I was going to play
yeah.
Cyberpunk and why I'm probably not going to play Cyberpunk now, because now after the showcase, dude, we've got those two games me and you were talking about in the chat. What were those games called? There's
Uh,
the First Descendant or the Last Descendant. I really want to check that out when it comes out
oh,
in July.
I've completely blanked on that
There's
now.
the
Oh, yeah, First Ascendant. Yep,
yes,
yep.
First Descendant.
So I am a huge Warframe player. I
Yeah.
actually I sent you a friend request last night on Xbox,
Oh, okay, cool.
and I was having a bit of a sneak through the games that
Yeah.
you play, and I saw that you played Warframe a little bit at
Oh
some
yeah.
point.
Oh yeah.
So I have put in thousands of hours into Warframe.
Mhm.
I am mastery rank 30. Like, I put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
And the first Descendant, I played the like beta of it.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of content, but it gave
Yeah.
me like huge Warframe vibes.
Well, that's how you
Like,
sell me.
it's yeah. I'll be and it comes out like next month,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah. It's like July
believe
9th, I
that
think.
I think it's free to play as well.
Yeah, it is.
If I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So whether it'll steal all the Warframe players, because again, like Warframe had another update like 2 days ago, with more story content, and so of course I had to jump on and play that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so like I've got big hopes for it. If they do it properly, it will be
Yeah.
great, because the combat was fun.
Mhm.
It was fast, and the shooting felt really, really good. But there was just not a lot to do.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they will do something like with that. But yeah, man, we should jump on that. Looks great.
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked about that. I actually when I was telling you earlier this week that I kind of had an idea for what we could do next week on the podcast as far as topics go.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I wanted
Yep.
to do. I wanted to look at the year ahead and see what games
Mm.
are coming out this month, that month, and kind of like plan what our games are gonna be like.
Yeah.
What's
Yep.
how are we tackling these upcoming games? Which I think would be super fun. It's something I love doing every year. It'd
Mm.
be nice to have
Yep.
company to do it with.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've found that for me recently, I'm going to say the last month, I've been catching up on DLCs.
Yeah,
So all of a sudden, there's just been a whole bunch of games that I haven't played for a while that are dropping DLCs, and it's interested me.
mm-hmm.
So I find that like Shadow of the Eld Tree, for me, it's taken too long. My Elden Ring hype has died off,
Yeah,
and it still looks incredible,
mm-hmm.
and I'll probably just jump on YouTube and watch some people play through it.
Yeah,
I don't have the time to put into that. But yeah, like I've been playing a whole bunch of DLCs,
mm-hmm.
so it'll be good to kind of finish all that up. And then like you said, like the backlog,
Yeah,
I want to start doing my own sort of like game preservation
yeah,
project, where whether I've got commentary or not, I'm just going to record a whole bunch of like all my old 360 games,
oh, that's sick.
just so
I
they're
like that.
there for someone to watch. Like I
Yeah,
don't like I see, like we're talking about, like I've been scouring eBay and those sort of things, so picking up all those old. So for me, like I think that's going to be like just an ongoing thing, that I just have one game that I play on Thursday and just
right.
kind of rotate through that, because there's so many games coming out, man. I just don't have
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I like you said, we're going to need to plan it.
yeah.
Um,
That's kind of.
I'm
Oh no, you go ahead and finish
carry
that
on.
thought. Sorry.
Uh, I was going to say, like I'm so excited for Space Marine 2,
Yeah.
but I'm also bummed that it's going to be like a live service style game.
Mm, yeah.
I I'm excited for it, and I'm going to play the absolute bejesus out of it. But I just don't have time for these live service. Like, it's is it just going to be one of those ones that just sits in the background and you just play every 6 months when there's new content? Or
Is it gonna be co-op?
yeah, three player co-op,
Maybe we should do some
story
streaming of that
mode,
when it comes out.
definitely.
That'd be
So 3 player story mode co-op, and then there's also 3 player end game co-op, which
okay.
I think they've called expeditions,
Yeah.
I believe. Which I'm assuming are just going to be like replaying the levels with different enemies.
Okay.
And then there's it's either 3v3 or 6v6
Okay.
multiplayer, where you can play as the Chaos Space Marines, which is so
Okay.
exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that game. And that's the thing that got me thinking about back when Inquisition came out. Like I remember riding around me and my buddy, we worked at the same place together and drove box truck, and like we would just sit in that box truck and talk about Dragon Age Inquisition all day, every day. We would talk about like how
Yeah.
we were gonna save up our money, and well, if we spend this much, save this much per week, then we should be able to afford getting it when it comes out. But also,
Oh,
how
that's
much will we
so
need
cool.
to save if we wanted to also get what else was coming out at that time? Yeah, like we were trying to figure out how to get multiple games at the same time and how we were gonna like play them together and all this stuff. And then when the game actually came out, like then we come into work. What you do last night? Like what missions did you get done? Here's where I'm at in the game, and that's like. I was thinking back to that, and I'm like thinking about how like Dragon Age is about to come out, and I'm like, I have zero idea how I'm tackling this year, and I think it'd just be
Oh,
such a
I
cool
know.
idea to sit down and just figure that out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like
I'd love to do that. That'd be cool.
it sounds like your years with gaming has been very similar to mine up till now. Because
Mm.
it's like I was interested in Helldivers, and no pun intended, but I jumped into that, and I played a little bit here and there, and ultimately, I even when I'm sitting here just thinking about it, I can't even remember all the games that I've played this year. Yeah, that's just kind
Mm.
of been how. Oh, I've been working on Baldur's Gate. That's what it was.
Oh wow,
From
yep, yep,
yeah, from I can't believe my mind was blank, and I'm like, my gosh, what the fuck have I been playing this year? Yeah, from like the beginning of January up until like the end of March, I was playing Baldur's Gate, and then
yeah.
Helldivers 2 and Hellblade 2. Those have kind of been the
Hmm.
games that I've been playing this year, and
Yeah,
um, yeah, this year has been the year of the backlog.
yeah.
Like, I
Same.
think it was like 2022 was the year of indie games for me. 2023 was the year of game of the years every month. And this year has been the year of the backlog and getting into that DLC,
Yeah.
like you were saying, because like that's something else that like always goes overlooked for me as well, is like going back and playing
Hmm.
DLC.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue to talk to you about, because I know me and you both played it. What you think about Alan Wake 2 DLC?
So I've got mixed opinions, right?
Really?
One,
Okay.
yeah. So one, it was cool to have more Alan Wake. Like just more
Oh,
Alan Wake
yeah.
was great.
Any reason to jump back into
I
Alan Wake?
Yeah, right, right. I found it pretty lackluster, to be honest. Um, I like it was cool, but it wasn't up to the standard of Alan Wake for me personally.
Really?
I
How
Yeah,
come?
it was too short. The three different episodes were like I think I would have preferred to have like one longer episode
Hmm.
just with one of those characters. I
Yeah.
think they tried to do too much by giving us the three characters. What was it? Rose, Jesse. I can't remember the cop's name. Michael or something. I don't know.
Uh. Oh gosh. Uh.
Like,
Well, wasn't he just straight up called Sean, the actor? Because the
oh, it
actor's
might
name
have
is
been.
Sean Ashmore, and I'm pretty sure they just
Yeah,
straight up called him Sean in the
just
in the
called him
DLC.
Sean. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
which
That is
that was the
brilliant.
thing. As soon as they opened up that episode and he was just talking to him as Sean, you're playing the video game character, and clearly was referring to Quantum Break the whole time. I'm just like,
Yeah,
this is great. Yeah,
yeah,
but go ahead.
yeah. Like, yeah. So the ideas were cool. Like
Hmm.
being like that running through as Rose, just like annihilating everything to save
Hmm.
Ellen. Like the little stories were cool, but I kind of I don't know. I didn't love it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I loved it for what it was. I
Mm-hmm.
wish they hadn't have called it what they called it, which was
Yeah.
the
Night Springs.
Night Springs. I wish they just hadn't have done that at all, because that
Mm-hmm.
set a very specific level of expectation for me. I was like, oh, this is going to be like 1 minute, really random, really weird episodes, alternate realities, or what. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it was like just a way to explain why they wanted to tell small stories. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It was just like they used that name as an excuse, and I wasn't in love with that, because I was so beyond hype for Night
Yeah.
Springs.
Yeah.
Is one of my
Well, because
favorite
like
things
Alan
about the original game.
Alan wrote like he wrote some of the episodes,
Yeah,
and like it would have been so cool to kind of dive into his mind writing
right,
the episodes.
right.
But instead we kind of just get put into these scenarios of characters that we don't I mean, don't get like the being Jesse was amazing, and I was
Yeah,
like, I need more control. I need more
yeah,
control right now. So like that was cool, but why am I playing as Jesse now?
yeah.
Like I don't get it. I don't understand why this episode of Night Springs, like it's not really an episode of Night Springs.
No, it was
Like
just an
it's
extension
something
of
else.
Alan Wake 2. And
Yeah.
it's like, even with the waitress, it's like how much of that was that seemed like a prequel into understanding how she got to the nursing home from the restaurant. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And like
Yep.
the
Yep.
Jesse thing felt very like this actually happened. And
Mm.
then you end it with the Sean Ashmore episode or slash the sheriff episode, and it's like they make it pretty clear that this is a multiverse
Yep.
themed thing, and
Yeah.
I so then it just kind of felt like then they really took the train off the tracks with that one, and
Yeah, because like they could have done like when you run into Sean throughout the story like mode when you're playing as Alan and you're trying to get into the hotel
yeah,
and you run into him in different places. I would have preferred to see a story of how he did that
right.
as opposed to this like completely random separate event. Um, is he even like now? Is he even a cop? Or is he just playing a cop?
I don't know.
And like now we'll look back at Alan Wake as a whole, and when you run into him as the sheriff, is he even the sheriff, or is he someone else?
It
And now they've just
yeah.
opened up a whole bunch of like now I'm just confused, and yeah,
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't know. I look at that episode as more of like Inception. Like there's not supposed
Hmm.
to be a definitive answer. It's like just
Yeah,
open to interpretation cuz like
yeah,
I love that it was like they were trying to they were like, "Hey, we didn't forget about Quantum Break." Like that's
yeah,
kind of what
yeah,
that whole
yeah,
entire thing felt like
yeah,
was just them
yeah,
saying that. And I don't know. I guess I just when I went into it, I expected more of randomness rather
yes,
than you telling me these random Alan Wake specific stories. If that makes
yeah,
sense. I don't know.
yeah,
Cuz like that was the thing about running into the TVs in the first game of like you don't know what this is. You just see like
yeah,
this old 60s television
yeah,
show. You don't like there's no reference and it's just really wacky. Just absolutely
yeah,
wacky. Doesn't make any
yeah,
sense at all. And
yeah.
this
These were
just
not wacky enough, right?
they
They
weren't
were
wacky enough. Yeah, it was
no,
just
no.
DLC, plain and simple,
Mm,
titled
yeah,
Night Springs. And yeah,
yeah,
so I agree with you. It was a little underwhelming in that sense. But you know, kind of going back to what it was though, what it
mm,
was great though. Like the actual
yeah.
what it was trying to do was really great. Like the coffee episode. Oh my gosh. I put out did you see like I randomly like
Yeah.
tweeted out I was like one must become being and I've been like joking with my wife all week. I'm like the mug calls. prepare
Enjoy.
prepare for the
Yeah.
percolation. And I'm like oh man.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I love that episode. And then she fell asleep on the couch watching me play the first episode, and she was like, "What the hell is wrong with this nurse or this like restaurant lady?" And I was like, "It's a
Yeah.
long story."
She is a crazed
She's
fan. That's what's wrong
crazy.
with her. Yeah. I actually found some of the combat encounters quite difficult as well. There was one that took me several attempts to do, which was nice because I found Alan Wake like quite easy, and that side of things.
Wait, in the
But
base
yeah, so
game
like
or which
yeah,
part?
the base game,
Oh,
the base
okay.
game I found quite easy.
Okay.
With the original Alan Wake, there were some very difficult encounters.
Oh, yeah.
The the second one was a lot easier. But
Mhm.
yeah, the DLC there were a couple of encounters there where like I had to try them a couple of times to get through it.
Yeah.
Especially there was a rose combat scene that I yeah was there was one I think
The
we had
one
to
at the
fight
end?
Alan and he had to fight
Yeah.
Alan in the car park with the wolves. I was
Yeah.
just like, what the fuck what is happening?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
I never fully understood the wolves part because I'm
No.
like I typically get a general understanding of like what I'm supposed to be looking for, and oh, when you hear this noise cue, that means the wolf will be coming from that. So I never understood. I was just like, oh, there it is, shoot at it, and then
Yep.
I got through it
Yeah.
lickety split.
Mm.
I feel like
Yeah.
with Alan Wake 1, there was definitely some missions where it's like, all right, run through the forest, and like it was impossible. Like it was
Yeah.
so intense. It did what Callisto Protocol was trying to do the entire game of like trying to
Yeah.
add that suspense, but it's like Alan Wake, they could have learned a thing or two from that game. Just
Mm.
simply running and trying to
Yeah.
dodge these attacks without any kind of cue of just
Yeah.
like, because I'll just never forget. I played that game on the hardest difficulty because I got all the
Mm.
original achievements for the first game, and like
Yep.
I played it on the hardest difficulty, and there are times where they just make it literally impossible, where
Yeah.
you're running through the woods, you're out of stamina, you dodge extremely slowly, and you can let alone barely dodge when you're out of stamina, and you're just
Yeah.
trying to make it to this light, but you can't see. So you're just that added to the
Yeah.
suspense. It added to the and like the difficulty made it scary.
Mm.
And yeah, I would agree. I know I never really ran into that with Alan Wake 2,
No. No,
especially
they
in
were
the
never.
DLC.
Yeah. 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 Those. Some like you're right. Some of those encounters in the first Alan Wake wasn't about the combat. It was about the getting out of combat.
Yeah,
It was the running and the. You know what? You don't have to fight every time.
right.
This time is time to run.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of games forget that.
Hmm.
They throw you into these like insane combat encounters
Hmm.
and you just have to do it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Where Alan Wake was like, this is I'm out. You
Yeah.
just drop a flashbang and you just run for the
Yeah.
light.
And I swear, I feel
Yeah.
like there was moments in Alan Wake 2 where like they set it up perfectly for you to have just enough bullets. Because I remember
Yep.
there's this one point where you're trapped in, right at the beginning of the game. There's that picnic table, and you've got to like you're blocked off by a wall of darkness, and you got to kill some enemies to be able to proceed. I remember when I was playing that, I literally had one bullet left, and that last bullet
Yep.
killed the
Yep.
last guy, and I was able to move on. And I
Yep.
had just enough batteries in my flashlight to take down the wall, and then I just walked in darkness until I got out of that level. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it did that on purpose or if I was just extremely lucky. Um,
Yeah.
but that's just
Yeah.
something that they did a really great job with designing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but let's see. Trying to think if there's anything. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we wrap up?
Um yeah, well I just speaking of that combat encounter and that kind of stuff, I just reviewed this like fun little indie game called Horror Tales: The Beggar.
Okay.
It's made by a solo dev. Like one guy made this game, and it's a physics based kind of like telekinesis puzzle horror adventure.
Okay.
And that was the my one gripe about it was like you're forced into these like really horrible combat encounters,
Yeah.
and it's not a combat game. It doesn't have to
Mm.
be. It doesn't like not everything has to have combat.
Yeah.
Like I like back to Alan Wake. Like I'd prefer to run with some unknown being behind me chasing me, and I'm trying to solve puzzles while I'm escaping, than have this kind of combat encounter that where does it come from? We
Yeah.
haven't where there's been no combat at all, and all of a sudden I'm in combat and I'm like throwing boxes at this thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I we need more of non-combat stuff.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, uh, to give you a good example, another good example to not needing combat. My the game. I don't know if I would feel like it's a bold statement to say it's my favorite horror game, but
Mm-hmm.
it is hands down the scariest horror game I've ever played, and most disturbing one I've ever played is definitely Outlast. Outlast,
Oh,
Outlast
that's
2.
that's been in my list for a long time.
Speaking of which, Outlast Trials is a game I really want to play. But
Hmm.
another game that's come out this year that I haven't had the time to play yet. Um,
Yeah,
but those games, they don't have combat, but they succeed at scaring me shitless
yeah,
the
yep,
entire time.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
I know. But what's funny about you bringing up the game you're reviewing is the game I'm reviewing, Soul Mask. Is I'm kind of having a very similar issue. The game, it has good combat. That's not my gripe with it. My gripe with it so far has been the fact that when there is a combat encounter, it's either way too little or way too much. Like they've got a
oh, yeah,
very big imbalance there. Like I finally made it to like this barbarian encampment, right? And in the barbarian encampment, there's just a bajillion people. And
yeah,
typically, when you're out in the wild, you'll literally run into two, four people max. They're extremely easy to fight, really easy to kill, move on, loot, yada, 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 do your thing.
yep,
But
yep,
in the barbarian encampment, there's like two entrances. There's four people camped out at the entrance, and then they call in for reinforcements. And I kid you
yeah,
not, I stood there fighting 25 dudes just getting in. And then I finally got
yeah,
in and I made it to the boss. And there was four different moments. Well, I'd say five moments, six, including if you include the time I died. But like, they'll there'll be the main boss dude, right? And he'll stun you while the seven, eight different people surround you and beat the living crap out of you until you're basically about to
yeah,
die. You can't do anything. You're just sitting there watching yourself die, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my stuff that I just spent hours gathering. And
yeah.
you can't do anything because the dude just immediately stunned you like that. And that's kind of been my biggest gripe about it so far.
Yeah,
But like,
that is that's a really big thing for me.
yeah.
The stun lock.
Hmm.
I when you get hit by someone and you fall down, and then you get up and they hit you down again, and you get
Yep.
up, or you're stuck in this weird animation. That kills games for me.
Yeah, it
I
really
I
does.
hate it.
I mean,
Yeah.
give me a hard boss, fine. I'll die 100
Mm.
times, fine. I'll be pissed
Yeah.
off, but
Yeah.
sure. But put me up against a boss that stuns me and I literally can't fight. I start
Yeah.
losing my cool really quickly. I'm
Yeah.
just like, this isn't even fun to me because I can't respond. I can't do anything. That's not even fucking playing a game. That's just getting stunned. And
Yeah.
that's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, as soon as I started like running into that issue, I like my wife was just walking by while I was playing it and she's like she just saw the screen and she was like, "Holy shit." And I was like, "Yeah, I can't do anything. I'm just getting my ass pounded for no good reason."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I eventually overcame it, but that's something I agree with you. I hate the feeling. Somebody in my Twitter or X account uh no sleep
It'll always be Twitter, man.
yeah,
It'll never be X.
exactly,
Always Twitter.
exactly.
Um,
No sleep, which is an awesome guy, very positive voice in the community, and I urge anybody to go follow him. He was talking at one point about Callisto Protocol, and he described it as an artificially difficult game, and that description has stuck with me ever since because I'm like, that is such a great way to put games like that where they
yeah.
just overwhelm you with an impossible situation and it's like, oh, we're a souls like game, and it's like, no, you're fucking not. Like you just
Yeah.
like literally made the game impossible to the point where it's not fun. Like there it didn't feel like there was
Yeah.
even that much thought put in behind it. um and it's crazy. I'll put it in my review. I'm not bashing this game by any chance, by any
No.
shot of
Yeah.
the
No. Neither.
imagination, because I mean
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a very good review. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to talk about this whenever I write it out. But like, it could have gone so far to just simply cut down a tiny bit on how many
Hmm.
people there are. You would make the
Yeah.
combat so much better in that game. And I'm talking
Yeah.
about Soul Mask there.
Yeah. What else? What else have you got planned for this week?
Um, Once I finish Soul Mask,
Games.
back into Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to. I really want to finish the final shape, and kind of have my Destiny 2 character in a good place to maybe tackle a raid at some point.
Hmm.
Because believe it or not, 10 years, never done a Destiny 2 raid.
Dude, we're gonna have to change that.
I would love to.
Yeah,
I
they. I've got a really. I'm trying to get them back together, but I've got a really fun Destiny group,
do you?
and we all split off and did our own things.
Yeah.
A couple of them carried on playing. I've picked it up again, like you. The uh, when was the last? You haven't played since the final shape dropped, have you?
Um, I've been playing. I've probably put in like 3 hours, but again, I haven't been playing the
Yeah,
final shape. I've
but
been
they
playing
since the
Lightfall. Yeah.
final shape drop, they have they've just ripped the guts out of a whole bunch of the weird mechanics that they used to have. Everything's all about the glimmer currency now. There's no other real currencies. It's just all about that.
Really?
And all of your gear has been increased to 1900. Everything across all your characters,
Okay.
all of the vault, anything that you had is now at 1900 power, and it can be upgraded for whatever reason. So,
Okay.
like I jumped back into it thinking like, my God, I've got so far to go,
Yeah.
but you don't. You pretty much, I reckon, finish the final shape storyline, and you're probably pretty good to go on a raid.
Really?
Like,
Well, I was
yeah,
noticing that it seems like they lowered the bar for a raid. Like it's like
mm,
1945, 1955
yeah,
instead of,
something like that.
and like
Yeah,
the max cap is like 2000,
2000,
2010.
yeah, or something. Yeah, I think it might be 2010, like with all the seasonal bish bash that there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see that I'm online, fucking
Yeah.
send me a message and we'll, because like Destiny's one of those games, like it's fun, but it's way more fun with someone
Oh,
else.
100%.
Like way more fun. Yeah.
100%. And I swear the game is far more difficult than the last time I played. Just playing by
Hmm.
yourself, it's so much more difficult.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and because I was like, you know what? Like, I'm good at first person shooter games. I've been playing Destiny long enough. I can handle the hard mode. And I'm like, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And I dropped it
Can
back
I
down to
change it
normal.
back to
Yeah,
easy?
I immediately changed it back. I was like,
Yeah.
that's something to do with friends, you know? At
Yeah,
least you can
definitely.
revive each other, like when you're playing
Yeah.
on hard mode. But when you're playing by
Yeah.
yourself, it's just like, nope, you're immediately starting back over. And I'm just like, I just
Mm.
want to get through the story so I can play with my friends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I am on
Yeah.
Saturday nights.
I'm
Saturday nights are my
I'm more
nights.
than yeah, cool.
So that
I'm
would be
more than happy
your
to jump in and
Sundays.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow's a no go. It's the wife's birthday, so
Ah.
I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't play games all day.
Yeah, well,
Um.
I'm gonna be busy finishing up my Soul
Yeah.
Mask review.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm doing the still wakes the deep review. I haven't
okay.
even I haven't even started. I'll probably do that
Okay.
today.
I was gonna ask how
Um.
was it, and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. 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 It's just a survival horror. Um. Set on an oil rig.
Okay, cool.
And I think that I don't think there's like a whole bunch of combat. I think it's more just like experience horror.
Okay.
So like you're on an abandoned oil rig and like weird stuff is happening.
So a
Almost
little
like
bit like Outlast.
environmental. Yeah, yeah, like that
Okay.
environmental horror. Um, so yeah, I'll be playing that, and then also the Warhammer's going hard at the moment
Oh yeah?
with their games. Did you ever play Bolt Gun?
No, I didn't. I really wanted to because um I really like the actor who voiced him. Oh shoot, what's his name?
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Couldn't tell you.
I'll think of
It's
it.
like first person Doom style,
Yeah.
fast paced combat, but it's like old Doom graphics, but new. It's so fun. But they dropped DLC for that, So I'll be jumping on that. And then there's also an ARPG called Inquisitor Martyr. I don't know if you've ever heard of
No,
that.
I haven't heard of that.
So, like in the Warhammer universe, the Inquisitors are part of the Space Marine kind of thing, but they're not Space Marines. They're sent to determine whether a Chaos invasion is worthy of a Space Marine counter. So they're kind of like the guys they go in because like the Chaos all revolve around like the weakness of man,
Yeah.
and so if there's some sort of chaos thing happening, they'll send an Inquisitor to check it out. And if he
Okay.
deems that it's like necessary to send some Space Marines to go and deal with it, then the Space Marines will come in. Um, the whole idea of the Space Marines is like, as a normal human, like we'd never see a Space Marine. We'd
Yeah.
never see one. They kind of make it out to be they're everywhere, but they're not. So like the fact that there's like Space Marine 2, that there's 3 Space Marines in one area is like pretty fucking wild.
It's kind
Um
of like same vibe of like a Spartan in the world of Halo,
yeah,
then.
yep, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Oh, actually, at the end of Space Marine 1, when Titus is taken away
Yeah.
by that guy, he's an Inquisitor.
Okay. Okay.
So he's come in and he's been like, Titus, like you've been touched by chaos, mate. You're fucked.
Okay.
And so now Titus has to like prove himself again, kind of thing. But this Inquisitor Martyr is a top-down ARPG like Diablo,
Okay.
and you are just slaying hundreds of demons. It's
Okay.
so cool. It like close your eyes and it looks like Diablo,
I
but it's Warhammer.
Now that you say that, I think I've seen gameplay of this.
Yeah,
I mean, this
it's
sounds
it's
dope as hell.
it's very cool. It's old and it's pretty clunky,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's really fun. And I put in like a 250 odd hours into the original
Uh-oh. I think I might have lost
thing.
Fraser.
So I grabbed it. I'm here. Are you
Okay,
there?
yeah, yeah, you froze up for a
Yeah.
while. But I didn't
Yeah.
get anything you just said.
Um they dropped some DLC for it anyway.
Okay.
And so I'm playing through it again with a
Okay.
Sister of Battle character. So that's going to be me today. I'll play some Inquisitor. I got to start this Fears of the Deep or whatever it's
Mhm.
called. Yeah, and then I'm also playing. You might remember it. James Bond, 007 Quantum of Solace.
Oh yeah?
So
What made you
it was
crack open that?
no idea. It's just been sitting on the shelf, and I thought, you know what, it's time.
It's towards
You
game
play.
preservation stuff you were telling me about?
That's it. Yeah. So you
Okay.
play as Daniel Craig, and
Okay.
you just it's fun. It's like a first person shooter. But do you remember the during that time the cover, and you would go into cover and it would change to third person,
Uh
and then you'd come out of cover and it would
okay,
go back
yeah.
to first person.
Yeah.
So you kind of you're running and you press A and you go to cover, and then it pans out and you can
Yeah.
see the enemies. And it's pretty bad, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that's
I think
awesome.
it's like 2007 or something.
Oh my
Like
gosh. I didn't even realize the movie was that old.
yeah, so covers like here we go. That's it there.
Wow.
Paid
Damn.
$5 for it.
That's wild.
Um, yeah, couldn't even tell you. Couldn't even tell you when it came out. But so that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be jamming that this week.
That's awesome. See,
Yeah.
um, as far as and it's Rahul Kohli, the guy from like the Fall of House Usher. He's the guy who does
Oh,
Bolt
yep,
Gun. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big Warhammer guy. I really hope he shows up in the Amazon show. But
Dude,
I
I'm
actually
so excited for that.
I don't really know a whole bunch about like the different Warhammer lore and things of that nature. Like I just don't know anything about it. I'm really excited to get
The
into Space
lore
Marine.
of Warhammer is so wild. It
There's a
is
lot of it, isn't there?
so wild, and some of it is just so amazing.
Yeah.
And like, there's this podcast that used to listen to. I haven't listened to it for ages, but it's called Adeptus Ridiculous, and it's a Warhammer fan teaching a non-Warhammer fan about the lore of Warhammer,
What's the name of
and
it?
Adeptus Ridiculous.
Baptist ridiculous. I'm literally writing it
Yeah,
down because I want to check it out.
and so it's on Spotify, and they do a brilliant job of it. But yeah, and they start right at the beginning, and they go from there, and yeah, it's so good. So I got into that because like the Warhammer universe is just so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't play the tabletop, and I don't have any
Yeah.
interest in the tabletop, but everything else about it, love it.
See, I've met people who are into the figurines. I've met people who are into the games, but I haven't really
Yeah,
had a chance to sit down and talk with somebody who's really into the lore of it.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I do know some things. Um, and yeah, I just love the Warhammer stuff. It's so cool, and there's so many games. There's so many
Oh
Warhammer
my
games,
gosh, there's so many games.
and some of them are brilliant, and
Yeah.
some of them are just crap.
I love the fact that like they're just out there giving away the IP to anybody who wants to make the games. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I mean, that's honestly how I've gotten to know anything about it, you know? I mean, like I said,
Mm,
I'm very excited for Space Marine 2. And
yeah,
I don't know a damn thing about a Space Marine. But
yeah,
but the
yeah,
little bit that you've told me today, I'm just like,
yeah,
damn, this sounds like yeah,
yeah.
these games sound awesome.
They the Space Marines are like 7 feet tall, genetically enhanced super
Yeah.
soldiers, and they've been made. So like the Emperor is like a god. He's like a
Yeah.
god emperor, and he is like this immortal dude, and they have to sacrifice thousands of people every day to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And the Space Marines are from his like he had some children,
Yeah.
and then the Space Marines are genetically engineered from his children.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
each kind of army represents a different child, and yeah,
Okay.
it's so
So then
wild.
that
But yeah, they
leads
have
to a
like
little bit of a Game of Thrones, like this house, that house against. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then they bring chaos into it, and then there's all the other factions. But like Space Marines have got like 3 hearts and 5 lungs and advanced strength and all that
Yeah.
kind of shit. Yeah, it's fucking cool. It's so good.
I keep thinking about that Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise and how they're like, we're gonna
Oh,
kill chaos. I keep thinking about that every time you say it.
yeah. Oh fuck yeah, but no, it's for whatever reason when they do Warhammer games, you always play a Space Marine.
Yeah.
There's so many other cool things about Warhammer. Space Marine's almost the lamest of it.
Really?
Yeah. So like in the whole scheme of things, the Space Marines are like religious zealots who hate anything that are not human.
Yeah.
So anything that is not human is scum and is to die.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You got me sold on this because everything about this
yeah,
screams me like I mean Halo, like I'm thinking about Halo, I'm thinking about Game of Thrones. I'm like
yeah,
connect
yeah,
all these dots of things that I like really love. So I got it. I'm not
yeah.
even kidding. I'm gonna
Check
check
out
out
that
this
podcast.
podcast tonight when I
Yeah,
go driving.
it's cool.
I have no idea
Yeah,
where I'm driving to tonight, but hopefully I'll have time to.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like last night, I just drove around Columbus here. Like I didn't really go
hmm,
anywhere too far.
yeah.
Um, but what do you think you're gonna do Sunday for your wife's birthday?
We're having a super chill day.
Yeah,
Um, as long as there's cake, it doesn't really matter what we do.
yeah,
I gotta go out and find a cake. And yeah, we'll just chill. We might go out for dinner. That'll be it.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds solid. Sounds like a solid time.
yeah, yeah. That's right. Last year we went to Bali for her birthday, so I have to, it's a pretty big thing to top.
Yeah.
Not gonna be able to do that. Holidays out of the question this year.
Yeah, you know when you've given up when you hit like one of those milestones and you're like, here's a flower from Dollar General.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
It's funny
That's
because that's
right.
a true
Like
story.
yeah.
What? Yeah, okay. That's. Oh no, you're fine to make. Yeah. My wife's asking if she can make coffee. She's like, "You're gonna be fine noise wise." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be
I'm
fine.
not
As long
worried
as you
about
make us one, we're happy.
it." That's what I'm saying. I thought she was asking me if I wanted coffee. I'm like, yes, I want coffee."
Yep,
Did you?
yep, definitely want coffee.
Oh no, she's clarified. It's just for her. Um.
Good, yeah, yeah.
So what kind of cake are we getting?
Something simple, man. I reckon we'll get some sort of sponge cake and yeah, just with some nice little icing on
Yeah.
it. I'll get a card,
Yeah.
like all that. All the good stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing like Monique's. She's a sweet wee thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't like over the top stuff. She's a
Yeah.
very very simple, like I say, like a sponge cake with some nice icing, a
Yeah.
nice card, and she's stoked.
That's the way my wife is too. Yeah.
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 I'm far more high maintenance than she is.
Oh, absolutely. One year she got me like an ice cream cake that was like a mushroom. And I'm like, this is and then I'm like, here's your card. Love you.
And she's like, "You're the best ever." I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, we're the exact same way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant.
It sounds like you got a exciting weekend ahead of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working 6 days a week here lately, so I've got like the one day, and I've got a whole bunch of wheeling and dealing on the Facebook Marketplace to do tomorrow. So not
Yeah.
anything too crazy exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No.
just getting to that Soul Mask review tomorrow, and then hopping into some Destiny
Brilliant.
throughout the week, and then yeah, probably just working on website stuff whenever I get the chance.
Cool.
I've been trying to work on my like daily routine. So I'm like trying to like implement, maybe try to
dude.
write one small article a day, work out for 10
Yeah.
minutes. I'm trying
Yeah.
to work on that time management thing, and it's, it's going as well as you can
Yeah.
when you got like, because I've got like 2 kids on top of all that. So it's, yeah. And my son just recently got diagnosed with autism. So we've been, that comes with its own obstacles and things to overcome.
Yeah.
And we're learning
Yeah.
new things every day with that. So I'm, yeah, we've been pretty busy.
Busy. Yeah. Yeah.
Even
That's-
today, I've got work tonight. I'm working the night shift or whatever. I'm running off of like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep because he ended up having a tantrum in the middle of the night for me, middle of the day for him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've also got to fix that OBS nonsense that we were talking about before. If anyone can help me in the comments, that will be bloody amazing. My video quality of my OBS has just gone out the window, and I don't know how to fix it.
Well, I will say I'm curious as to how this video is going to turn out, because when I'm looking over at the screen, it does look really. It looks a little flushed out, like it's very white, paper white. So I'm curious as to how that will turn out.
You
But
can
it
fix
might be
that.
on my
You can fix
end.
that in after. You can fix that on editing afterwards
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But the quality thing, I don't know what's going on. Like, it's been fine, and then all of a sudden I've turned it on and it's not. So
It could be.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
A webcam specific thing.
Oh
On
no,
top
it's
of
not.
that.
It's not the webcam. It's the actual recording of the gameplay, like the gameplay recording
Oh,
itself.
that's right. The picture you sent me, yeah, where
Yeah.
it's kind of like the window is like smushed in.
it just is. I don't even know. It's like it's unwatchable,
Right.
which sucks because you put so much time and effort into it, and then to come out the other side and you can't use it.
Well, because you were talking before we went on the air or record, or I don't know how you refer to
whatever
recordings,
whatever this is. Yeah.
whatever this is. Um, you were telling me how like you're trying to like record videos for game preservation. Like, do you want to plug in your
Mm.
channel?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Perfect time to do that. So, yeah, you can find me at fbombs with an e. So that's FBOMBE
Okay.
gaming. Everywhere. Like I lurk on Twitter. I'm not a very posty person,
Yeah.
but I'm there. I'm watching. I'm listening. I'm learning. I'm like Skynet. I'm just sitting there watching, learning. But yeah, YouTube's where you'll find me. I'm trying to stream on Thursdays, but life is getting in the way at the moment. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that'll happen.
but I'll definitely doing kind of weekly, bi-weekly uploads of my old Xbox 360 stuff. So jump on, have a look, have some fun.
Yeah.
You got any ideas or any games that you want me to play? I'm all ears.
Man, before an hour ago, I didn't give a flying fuck about Quantum Solace 007, but seeing you get so
Yeah,
excited about it, like, makes me want to sit down and watch you play through it, because,
yeah.
like, I just.
Like I didn't even know that was a game.
See, like, when you showed it to
Yeah,
me, I'm like, man, you're giving me flashbacks of, like, picking this game up in a Blockbuster.
yep,
That's what
yep.
I was
That's right.
thinking of when I saw it.
That's what there was a time where like every movie had a game, and it was just those movie games, and they were all terrible.
Hey,
So
don't you have the last Blockbuster over there in Australia?
maybe, maybe.
I feel like the
But that'd be
last
cool. It'd be cool to go and
Blockbuster
go and
is
check out a blockbuster and
right.
see. Yeah.
I already told Fraser earlier this week. If anybody's made it this far into the podcast, I was telling him how like the second DLC there from Control, we were gonna have to have a. If I ever come to Australia, we're gonna have a séance. Like,
Coffee
get the
seance. Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
showed Megan that the fact that me and you took the exact same screenshot.
Right. It was wild. You sent it to me, and I was like, I have that. I already have that.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome! I love how we were both
Oh,
thinking the same thing in that part. Um,
yeah.
but all right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all for listening, and we'll be back again next week. We'll talk about kind of planning out the rest of our year in gaming, as long as like
Yeah.
nothing else crazy pops up next week. It's funny because the biggest things that happened this week was the Nintendo showcase, and
Hmm.
feel like I'm even forgetting something else that happened this week that was kind of crazy. I
Oh,
feel
there were some weird things like I think they were trying to figure out why like is it Black Monk?
Black Monk, Wukong,
Yeah,
Wukong.
that one, like why it's skipping Xbox. Like that was a I really don't think anyone knows. I think there's a lot of
Well,
speculation about what and why, but
well, I don't think it's skipping. I
that's
think it
really all
got
the
delayed.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I got delayed on Xbox, but nothing else. And then their
Mm,
statement about it was really just that. It was just a statement. It
yeah.
wasn't being like,
Yeah.
and there was no explanation involved. And
No.
whenever you start, the more you listen to these higher up responses to drama like this, the more you start to realize they never really actually talk about anything of worth.
No. No.
They're like, here
No,
at
they just say
Xbox, we
say
care
some
about
buzzwords
games.
and
Have a good day.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But yeah, as long
All
as
right, man. Well,
there's no crazy other news, we'll probably be talking about what games we're gonna get into
yeah,
this year.
that
Um,
sounds good.
and then
Sounds good.
no, like even though there's gonna be like Avowed and Indiana Jones, those games don't even have release dates. I think it'd still be an interesting conversation to have of like,
Yeah.
well, do we
Yeah.
put down the things we're planning to play these games if they randomly come out? Which I think
Hmm.
spoiler alert for me.
It'll be
I don't
cool.
think I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop. Like nothing's gonna stop me from
No.
playing Dragon Age, and if anything's
No.
gonna stop me, it's gonna be Assassin's Creed, and I don't even think that's gonna stop me. So
Mm. Well, see, like, and I'm also good with like not playing games on release as well.
yeah,
I'm now only just playing through Jedi Survivor, and I'm really late to the party on that.
you know
But
what? Let's keep
like,
it at like under 10 more minutes.
yeah,
Tell me all about it. I really want to hear it, man. I
yeah,
love this game so much.
I am really enjoying it.
It's because
I'm
you have good
finding the
taste.
pacing. Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you. The pace of it is really good.
Yeah.
Like you don't get all the powers straight away.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of they sprinkle some things in. I've just recently landed on my first planet.
Okay, so you're
Um,
really early in.
I'm really early
Okay,
into it.
okay.
I fought the big kind of like gorilla looking
Oh,
lady.
yeah.
I fought her. I've got the dual lightsabers now. Um, so I've kind of been diving really into that, but now I'm finding that just the single stance saber is where I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I've yeah, I've
you
just been
get
doing.
so many different stances, and it's
Oh,
funny
that's
because
so cool.
I
Yeah,
did land on the one singular lightsaber a
yeah,
lot, surprisingly. Like
yeah,
I wanted to be more exciting throughout my playthrough, but I honestly, if I go back and replay it, it's going to be like a whole new experience because there's so many
yeah,
stances.
yeah. I played with the staff, kind of like Darth Maul. I had that for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I found that my play style and the flow
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm trying to do just worked with the single saber.
Okay. So do you?
Yeah, and it's cool. Like,
No, go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say like I went through and I chose all the different colors of my
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I was watching Ahsoka at the time, so I had the white lightsaber for a while, and now I've changed it to like that golden orange.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so cool. The customizations and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. I'm having so much fun with it,
And it just keeps
and it's
expanding the whole game.
yeah, yeah. I'm finding it's very big. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like I'm exploring this kind of first hub area, and I'm like, all right, I have to go over here, and now I have to go over here, and then how do I get up there?
Right.
Like where is that? So you have to go off and find this thing, and it's cool. I'm really enjoying it. I'm excited for it to kind of get a bit more epic. It's not quite
Yes.
as epic as I was hoping, coming from what was the first one called?
Fallen
Outcast.
or
Oh yeah,
Fallen Order.
Fallen. Was it Fallen Order?
Fallen
Like
Order
that.
was the first
Like
one, and
that.
Survivor was the second one.
That it was so epic, and the grand scale of everything was just so cool. And this one's kind of started small. I'm hoping it. Oh, I'm so excited! It's so good.
Audio listeners,
It's
I
cool.
have the largest fucking smile you would ever see. Man, you are in for a treat. Don't worry. I don't want to spoil anything,
Yeah,
but it's coming. Man, like there are
yeah.
just some moments in that game that like I'm not gonna forget them. Like I feel like
Oh,
with
that's
all the
so cool.
video
Yeah,
games I play, I feel like
yeah,
they somewhat start to mesh together in my brain. But there are just certain moments in video games you'll never forget, and Survivor had a couple of them. Oof. I
yeah.
can't wait to
Brilliant.
talk to you about
Yeah,
them whenever they happen. But
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah. We'll talk about it
lightsaber.
more next week. I'll put
Yes,
some more hours in next week, and I'll see where I'm at.
please update me. I
Yeah,
am yeah, and I'll update you on my Destiny 2 run because where
yeah.
I last left off, I was fighting the. I'm pretty sure he's the final boss of Lightfall. It's the big like giant gorilla looking king dude.
And he's in like an area, and you have to like do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah,
I died like three
yeah,
times and I had to turn the game off. So now I got to restart the whole damn mission. So yeah, hopefully I'll
yeah,
have
man.
him
Well,
beat by
yeah.
next week.
If I'm round and I see that you're on, I'll jump in and we'll try and get
Oh,
it
that'd
done.
be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Survivor, like the lightsaber customization and the platforming, yeah, it's amazing. Like the actual
Mm.
having to solve how you get here and there, and I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. I just randomly find myself thinking about wall running in that game, and
Yeah, yeah,
just the
yeah. The
traversal.
traversal's beautiful. They've done such a good job. I I'm a very aggressive player,
Yeah,
so I am finding I haven't quite found the groove of the blocking and the attacking yet.
yeah.
I'm just like, "Ah, and
Well,
kill everything," and
well, I'm telling you what, when you start finding all the other stances, and you'll start to find your groove more
yeah,
and
cool.
find what works for you best. And I'll
Oh,
be very interested in seeing what you land on as your
mm,
combo. Because
yeah.
for me, I again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a kind of like a heavy stance.
Ooh,
Some like
yeah.
so there's that, and then I combined that with the double-sided lightsaber, because the
Mm-hmm.
double-sided was really good for taking on hordes of enemies, and
Yeah,
that's just the
yeah.
playstyle I found worked for me. But
Are we talking like heavy, kind of like Darth Vader style, or are we? Because I like the way he uses his lightsaber. Kind of, it almost looks like a broadsword. Like how he
yeah,
kind of like swings it around.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that yeah,
That's
and
yeah, yeah.
and again in that Ahsoka show, fuck, I'm so bad with names. But the old Sith with he just recently died. I don't know if you've seen the show. He was in like Rome, that show Rome. Um, fuck, I
Oh,
don't know,
the Rogue Show.
but
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
um,
I really want
he
to.
the way that his lightsaber starts again felt like Braveheart,
Mm.
like they're swinging around 10 foot claymores, but it's a
Yeah,
lightsaber,
yeah.
and it's like the way that he
It's
fought was just so cool.
That's definitely the way the heavy lightsaber is
Yeah,
in this game. It feels
cool. Yeah,
great.
yeah, I'm excited for that. Right, well, I'm gonna jump off now and I'm gonna play
Oh man, I'm
it.
jealous of you. Man, talking about it makes me want to jump back into it all that much more.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's in my top 10, and that game inspired me to sit down and do a uh like really look at my top 10 games of all time, and
Mm,
I like put it in number 9. And it's funny because since we started doing podcasting stuff, it's like I've already had to answer the question twice, what's my favorite game or whatnot. And like I've been racking my brain trying to remember back to last year when I put Jedi Survivor in as number 9 of all time top 10 favorites. And like I'm like, I know I landed on Mass Effect being my favorite game, but I don't remember between number 1 and number 9. In fact, I don't even remember
yeah,
what
yeah.
number
There's
10
there's
was.
something. I'm sure there's something in there.
I should have wrote it down.
Yeah,
It's
right.
probably
Well, we'll do
deleted
that
in
next
some note.
week. That
Yeah,
sounds.
I would actually love to do that for content
Yeah,
at some point.
that'd be
Like figure out like
that'd
what
be
our
fun.
top 10 is and talk about them. I mean,
Hmm.
hell, even doing like I've got so many ideas for content for us to do. I mean, we definitely need to do a game of the year. Like
Yeah,
everybody, we like do a voting system and get our game of
yeah.
the years in, and we can write up an
Hmm.
article about it. I mean, hell, even doing an article, doing a summary of the games that are coming out this year. I know we do our weekly summary, but it would be nice to have a
Yeah,
like just a
but like a
overall
bigger
yearbook.
scope of yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All
All
right,
right,
man.
man. Well, thank you all for watching and listening. We had a
Yeah,
great
thank you.
time, and we will see you guys next week.
Sounds good, Nathan. It's always a pleasure, mate. We'll talk soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks, bro. Ciao.